A diamond ring once guaranteed a yes. Now it practically guarantees a loss. That sparkling stone you paid thousands for? It's quietly sinking in value every day. Millions are waking up to the awkward truth. The diamond market wasn't just built on hype, it was built on a house of cards. And the collapse? It's not just about China, or lab diamonds, or even millennials refusing to buy. The real reason diamond prices are crashing has nothing to do with romance, and everything to do with one colossal lie. If you think you know the story of diamonds, think again. Here's how the diamond empire got so big, and why it's unraveling faster than anyone predicted. Let's start with a scene from the Golden Age. 1980s Manhattan, velvet boxes, and 6-month salaries. Back then, the idea was simple. Real love meant a real diamond. Anything less? Social disaster. But that wasn't an accident. It was De Beers' genius, convincing the world that diamonds were scarce, special, and forever. Here's the twist. Diamonds aren't rare. Not even close. In fact, there are enough diamonds mined to give every American a handful. The only reason prices stayed high. De Beers controlled the supply, drip-feeding stones into the market. For almost a century, they ran the perfect illusion until the world finally caught on. But now, a perfect storm is breaking the whole system. Let's break down the three forces driving the diamond crash: psychological, technological, and geopolitical. First up, psychology. The old myth that diamonds are a safe store of value, that's evaporating. Take Sarah. She inherited her grandmother's ring, appraised at $10,000 in 1999. Last month, she tried to sell it. No jeweler offered more than $1,300. That's not a fluke. The resale market for diamonds is a graveyard. Why? Because the moment you walk out of the store, your diamond is worth half or less. Most buyers never realize this until it's too late. Now flip that around. What happens when the myth dies for good? Suddenly, diamonds are just overpriced rocks, and the market reacts fast. Second force, technology. Lab-grown diamonds are flooding the market. They're chemically identical to mined stones, but cost up to 80% less. Jewelry ads try to spin it, but let's be honest. If you can't tell the difference, why pay more? In 2023, lab-grown stones made up almost half of all diamond engagement rings sold in the US. And the pace is accelerating. Factories in China and India can now churn out flawless stones at industrial scale. Flood the market with supply, and even the illusion of rarity vanishes. Third force, geopolitics. For decades, China was the engine of global luxury demand. But in 2022, China's appetite for diamonds plummeted, down nearly 30% in a year. Why? Economic slowdown, youth unemployment, and shifting tastes. Gen Z in China and everywhere see diamonds as old-fashioned, overpriced, and ethically messy. Suddenly, global demand can't keep up with global supply. And the result? Wholesale diamond prices have crashed over 40% in just 3 years. That's not just a statistic, it's a signal that the old rules are dead. But the weird part is, most jewelry stores are still pretending nothing's changed. They're still pushing the forever story, hoping you won't notice the cracks. Meanwhile, the people who actually make money on diamonds, they're not buying at all. Big investors have already moved on to gold, art, even sneakers. And here's what most people get wrong. Diamonds aren't an investment. They're a luxury expense with zero resale safety net. So how did the mechs survive this long? Part of it is sheer marketing muscle. In the 1940s, De Beers literally invented the engagement ring tradition. The line, "A diamond is forever," wasn't a fact. It was an ad campaign. And it worked. By the 1980s, 80% of American brides got a diamond ring. But culture can change faster than you think. Today, more couples are opting for colored stones, or no rings at all. And as the meaning of marriage shifts, the meaning of diamonds shrinks. Meanwhile, the supply glut keeps growing. De Beers tried to slow the crash, hoarding stones in warehouses. But even they can't stop physics. When supply dwarfs demand, prices fall hard. So why don't prices at jewelry stores fall just as fast? Here's the catch. Jewelers are desperate to protect margins, so retail prices lag behind reality. Behind the scenes, they're quietly offering discounts, cashback deals, and free upgrades. But if you try to sell your diamond, you'll see the real price. Even pawn shops are flooded. Many simply refuse to buy. So what happens next? Some predict a diamond renaissance, that scarcity will return once the glut clears. But here's the problem. The genie's out of the bottle. Lab diamonds aren't going away. Neither is the knowledge that resale is a losing game. And China's youth? They're not coming back to tradition anytime soon. So, is there any way to win at the diamond game? Only if you play by different rules. Rule 1. If you must buy, think of diamonds as a luxury expense, never an investment. Rule 2. Don't expect resale value. Enjoy the sparkle, but know the money is gone. Rule 3. If you want a deal, negotiate hard, or consider lab-grown. And if you're tempted to invest, there are safer, saner places to put your cash. But the biggest takeaway? Markets built on illusion can disappear overnight. The diamond scam isn't just collapsing. It's teaching us a lesson about financial storytelling. So next time someone tells you something is forever, ask, who benefits if I believe that? And remember, the real value isn't in the stone, it's in what you know. By the way, diamonds aren't the only asset with a hype problem. Want to know how gold, watches, and even sneakers compare? Click here to see which is the real store of value. No fairy tales. But let's rewind. Why did De Beers choose diamonds and not sapphires or rubies to anchor their empire? The answer is less about beauty and more about logistics. Diamonds are durable, easy to cut, and crucially, easy to stockpile without anyone noticing. Sapphires and rubies? Too colorful, too traceable, and too easily identified by origin. Not so with a near-invisible mountain of diamonds. This made it possible for De Beers to manipulate global supply for generations. No rival gem could be hoarded and rationed quite as efficiently. But even the best illusion needs maintenance. Enter Hollywood, De Beers' secret weapon. Movie stars didn't just wear diamonds, they sold the dream. Marilyn Monroe crooning "Diamonds are a girl's best friend" wasn't just pop culture, it was prime-time advertising, disguised as entertainment. The result? A generation convinced that love, status, and forever were all things you could buy in a velvet box. But that velvet box is looking emptier by the year. Here's the irony. Diamonds were chosen not for love, but for their convenience to cartels. And now the very trait that made them perfect for price fixing, interchangeability, is making them perfect for being replaced by lab stones. Let's zoom in on the technology. Growing a diamond in a lab used to take weeks and cost a fortune. Today, a factory can grow a flawless 1-carat diamond in less than a week for a fraction of the price. And if you want pink or blue diamonds, no problem. Lab-grown stones can be colored at will, something nature rarely delivers. The catch? Rarity is no longer built in, it's programmed out. But here's a curiosity. If lab diamonds are so cheap, why don't jewelers just switch over completely? The answer: old inventory. Jewelers are sitting on billions in unsold mined stones, terrified of marking them down. Some are quietly mixing mined and lab stones in the same case, hoping customers won't notice. But the longer they wait, the faster the gap grows between what they paid and what buyers will pay now. Meanwhile, the resale market is getting creative and desperate. Online resellers now offer trade-in programs for lab stones, something unheard of 5 years ago. But the numbers don't lie. In 2023, average resale value for a 1-carat diamond was just 30% of the original retail price. And that's before you pay commission, shipping, and insurance. Sometimes sellers get less than pawnshop scrap value. Yet the myth lingers, thanks to a century of perfected advertising psychology. The original ad campaigns didn't just sell stones, they sold insecurity. Show her you really care. The irony. In the scramble to prove love, buyers locked themselves into an asset that loves no one back. So what's next? Some say smart branding could make lab diamonds cooler than mined stones ever were. Others predict a return to colored gems, or even to vintage, second-hand rings with a story. But the real plot twist is this. The only people consistently making money in diamonds are those selling the story, not the stone. In the end, the only thing rarer than a diamond? A buyer who still believes the fairy tale. So next time you see that glitter in the window, ask yourself, are you seeing an eternal gem or the fading sparkle of a very clever illusion?